And time now to go to our business news with Nona Peltier. Another really busy day, Nona. But shall we start?
Right, there definitely was a busy day.
Got a lot of paper here in the studio this evening. So let's start with the winners from the financial markets today, because it was a bit of a topsy-turvy today, but there were some winners who came out of it.
Yeah, there was. We could call it a Black Monday, but for the markets in the United States and of course in Europe. But look, let's just put a little sugar coating on it. It wasn't all bad for everyone. And some of the winners were, for example, AFT Pharmaceuticals. Yes, they are making products like Maxigesic, which is a pain relief, and other products. And they've been selling like hotcakes, probably just alongside those toilet paper rolls, no doubt. So people are buying those things in advance of whatever might come. Yes. Yeah, let's say. So they said that they sold as much vitamin C lipo sachets, I think that's how you would say it, or sachets, I'm not sure, as it had done in the entire year, $1.2 million worth.
So that's interesting, because
in 3 days.
People are obviously concerned about maintaining generally good health at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So people are, buying up things that are going to make them feel better one way or another. And certainly they benefited in their market. Their prices went up nearly 3% today. So they were higher than that earlier on. A pretty good uptick for that company. But they weren't the only ones. We had a statement from the U.S. President Donald Trump this afternoon, where he indicated there would be a package to support businesses and so on. And Tourism Holdings, which has exposure in the U.S. market.
So this is the camper van company, right?
That's the camper van company. And it was up 2% after that. And so that's pretty positive for them. Synlait Milk on our trade data, which showed that dairy sales, products to China had been holding steady in terms of not necessarily volume, but in prices. And it rose more than 1% on that news. So it got a bit of an uptick there. And what about for the consumer? Z Energy announced this morning that it was going to cut petrol prices. So that's another upside. Yes, there's plenty of downside, but there's always a little bit on the other side for consumers and investors to take heart from.
And today also we heard from the Reserve Bank Governor Adrian Orr. So what has he told people to expect from the Reserve Bank in these times?
Expect nothing, really, is what his message was. He's saying that there's no need for a knee-jerk reaction to what's happening. He says that the country was in a good space. And so what he talked about today were theoretical monetary policies, alternative instruments they could use to encourage or to, stimulate growth in the economy. Because, let's be realistic. There is definitely doom and gloom out there. We saw so much data come through that suggested that trade was down in the last month in China, imports and exports, both sides. And so tempering that, he's still saying, though, that our economy isn't tanking. It's still, moving along.
So made it very clear that he's got no intention to move any decisions about the official cash rate forward.
Not at this time. And, he's going to have a monetary policy statement later this month, and the market is expecting him to cut interest rates. But he wasn't going to be doing anything today, and he'd signaled that earlier. And there was some speculation that he would, perhaps the pressure that he's seeing, he might have changed his tune, but he didn't. And interestingly, we also had some other data this morning, which is a thing called the truckometer. And
explain to us what that is again.
Okay, so it's two indices. One of them is the heavy traffic index, which tells us what's happening today on the roads, like trucks moving cargo and so on. And then there's the light traffic indicator, which is about people driving their car around, shopping and so on. And those numbers showed us that we were up on the year earlier. And the chief economist at ANZ said that the numbers were pretty positive because they really were quite typical for this time of year. But she says all bets are off. So Sharon Zollner says we don't really know what tomorrow is going to bring with the COVID-19 virus. But at the moment, things look pretty good.
So people, based on that survey, are not staying at home. They're still moving around in their vehicles.
But this afternoon, when I spoke with her again about the business confidence survey, which was pretty down, she said that there was an indication there that more people are staying home. So, but I don't know about you, Lisa, but I'm definitely going to be going out after this.
And still coming to work,
That's
we can
right.
see Nona. Also, so we know it was a bit of a rough start on the markets today. Where did we finish? Where was the dollar at?
Okay, so yesterday, as you know, we were about 3% down. Today, we're 1.8% down. That's a lot better than what we saw in overseas markets overnight, which got clobbered, really. The Australian ASX 200, yesterday, remember we talked yesterday about how at that point it was about 6% down. It finished down 7.33%. That's a shocking closure. Today, it was up 0.9%, so it bounced back a little bit. So we finished down 1.8%, 194 points down to 10,897. And the dollar is steady still, trading at 62.3 US cents, 96.1 Australian, and 48.4 British pence.
Thanks, Nona. Another busy day on the business front there.